70 seconds from right now to get themselves Stevie Morrison and Hannah Diamond into the right position on a very tight course on a very breezy day here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix.
Looks to me like some of these boats are out of position at the minute, Hannah.
Yeah, that's right. You can see Canada and Great Britain, they've got a long way to come back to be the correct side of the start line, which is the right-hand side of our screen. Some teams react better to pauses like that than others, but it's really crucial. They're going to have to line up really well if they're going to have any hope of leading at Mark 1.
Yeah, I mean, Fletcher definitely saw that early because the British have been going absolutely flat out from about the last 25 seconds. Canada are definitely late here. They might have a chance to dive inside, but they're going to be really out of position on their plan. The boats manoeuvre back. Bond's Flying Rouge, well positioned, tight in the pack. Emirates GBR, wow, drive it like you stole it, Dylan Fletcher. Spins the boat in front of Artemis there. They've managed to close the door. France well positioned here. I think the black foils might have a chance to shoot through at the bottom of the line. 16 seconds to go. Burling's got the black foils lit up here. Got to watch out for the Spanish. Tight in the pack. Spain controls the start here. Rolex pole predictor on the Bond's Flying Rouge, but we're looking for the line to turn white. 3 seconds to go. It's going to be a blanket start. Oh, it's brilliant out the middle by Rockwell, and it's very, very good from the French, but it's a sprint now. Bond's Flying Rouge, Slingsby's got a hammer down.
Pressure on, lifting pressure. Press. Slowly on Rockwell. Sing a little here.
It's going to be tight into Mark 1 here, Todd. They're all overlap. Looks like Australia are going to struggle to get over the top. Should be the French leading at Mark 1.
Okay, marginally clear. Okay, rolling down here.
And at mark number 1, it is DS Team France that grabs the whole shot as they cut inside. They've got the Bond's Flying Rouge to the outside. They've got the Kiwis just behind them.
Tight at Mark 1. I think it was interesting to the right-hand side of our screen. The black foils were manoeuvring away early, and I think we're going to find out a lot about this race course early on. France here, you're in the lead. Take your time.
They're obviously happy to lead all the way to that boundary there, really late with the jibe. As they come back towards the middle of the course, we did see a lot of boats peel off at Mark 1, but it looks really puffy and shifty on the course with lots of different angles.
Yeah, good breeze on the black foils, dark patch of water. Spain fast as well. Top of our scheme, the French, they've definitely sailed into less wind. All boats are going to compress into the bottom, and the angles are changing a lot. Right of way with Spain and New Zealand.
This is the umpires,
expect a black foil
USA,
turn.
not giving room at the boundary, go behind GBR.
Bond's Flying Rouge, brave here from Slingsby. He's got to be sure that he's across. Right of way with the black foils, but it's going to be the Bond's Flying Rouge.
Ooh.
They're a little bit loose, but they're very, very quick round the bottom gate there. Black foils,
Absolutely thread the needle, Stevie. They thread the needle, those 5 boats at the second gate.
Accuracy of manoeuvres there, Todd, was incredible. The Bond's Flying Rouge had to keep it safe, did a nice job. Black foils were fast, very accurate. They've manoeuvred into a nice gust of wind here. Lisa, the breeze here is all over the place. Are there any patterns you've seen out there on the course yet, or are you just reacting to what you got at the time?
Oh, there's no pattern out here, Stevie. It's patchy, as you can see. You also have to sail your own wind. It's not like, if you're about 100 metres away from your competitors, even 50, you could be in completely different wind. But where the black foils are right now, they've really hooked into a nice bit of pressure that's bringing them right up the course.
I think something we'll see as the day goes on a little bit, Hannah, here, as you see how unstable the black foils were there. They're going to struggle to manoeuvre across from that side, and I think the top right-hand corner of our screen, it's brilliant for the fans, but that grandstand is so big here in Auckland. This actually means there might not be a lot of wind at the top there. Black foils manoeuvre, they've got to be sure that they're ahead of the Aussies. Looks like Burling's back.
Yeah, and one of the things that makes it so tricky at the top of the course is that they can't anticipate what wind is about to hit them, so it gets to be a bit of a gamble, and they're always planning ahead. So for the black foils, they're really hoping they get a good puff of wind off that shoreline.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to do one more manoeuvre for a left turn here by the look of it. It's going to be less distance to that left turn, but I'm not sure how the breeze will be, so they're going to have to be accurate on their manoeuvre, try and get the boat fast, and it's all about getting away from gate 3 as quickly as you can, Todd.
As they approach gate number 3, this is like 3 of 8, race number 1 of 4. It is New Zealand, the home team, on top. DS Team France has dropped back to 3rd with the Bond's Flying Rouge of Australia sitting in 2nd place. Spain's moving into 4th, and Red Bull Italy rounding out your top 5.
Hannah, I like this right turn here by the Bond's Flying Rouge. Yeah, you see the black foils manoeuvre early. It's just less wind under that grandstand, I think.
Yeah, and I think what we just can't see off screen at the moment is there is a little bit of a gap. So from the kind of topography of the land, there is a bit of space for the breeze to come through there. But you can see a lot of teams choosing to make that left turn. I suspect we'll see them all manoeuvre early to come back to the middle of the course.
Yeah, and we see Emirates GBR are right stuck back in the middle of the pack here, so they've been pretty much unbeatable for the last little while. But I do think with a new wing trimmer on board, these conditions are going to be hard because it's so dynamic out there. And once you fall off the foils, there's actually not a lot of breeze on the water today. These small wings here, very, very good for high speed, but if you get it wrong, you're going to pay a heavy penalty.
Taylor Canfield on the US SailGP team with a slick move on the outside of the reigning champions Emirates GBR. So it is Australia, the Bonds Flying Rouge out in front. It is the Black Foils of New Zealand in second and DS Team France in third. Denmark, Rockwell Denmark has moved up to fourth. Spain and Brazil now top 6.
But here we go. We're already approaching gate 4 here. Bonds Flying Rouge have done an overtake. That right turn was good. Hey, I've still got it, Hannah. We saw that one, but again, a split for the Black Foils. Burling not afraid to do extra manoeuvres to find extra breeze.
Good angle.
It's really a race course of two halves. We've got quite strong breeze down the bottom. You've got to be really careful with that manoeuvre, making sure that you nail that turn up when you go back upwind, but much lighter at the top of the course. Some big separation across the fleet right now.
Separation really kicking into play, but those first 2 legs absolutely hectic as they were trying to find room on this compressed course with the breeze just kicking up. Stevie, to Lisa's report early on, the breeze is not predictable today, is it?
No, it's very dynamic, and this is a great helicopter shot. You see left-hand side, there's the CBD, the Central Business District of Auckland there, and that's really going to be disturbing the wind. Right-hand side of the screen, you can see on average it's going to be clearer, but right now the Bonds Flying Rouge, well, they've got great breeze and they've got a great angle, so the winds come out of the lucky left for them there. They won't have seen that coming, but Slingsby's one that can grab advantage of anything if it's given to him.
Boundary tack on the German line.
I think your only real controllables out there today are how well you manoeuvre your boat and how well you try and see what's coming. So see that gust of wind coming, see that lighter bit of wind coming. I always think it's harder to see a lighter bit of wind, Hannah. But right there you can see the Bonds Flying Rouge. Not necessarily done what worked last time, but they've reacted well.
But yeah, I think we're going to go fast in this one, pressing.
Down slightly.
Copy, my right.
So what are they talking about there, Hannah? You can mode the boats differently, can't you? Sometimes you can be sailing at an average speed, but occasionally when it's this shifty, you've got to just put the hammer down.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of today is going to be about linking the patches of pressure together. So if you can minimise the time you're in that lighter wind, you're going to be sailing faster around the course. Then you also want to minimise your manoeuvres as well. But Bonds Flying Rouge doing a really nice job at the moment.
Yeah. Gate 5 here. I think what's interesting is the Bonds Flying Rouge happy to do what didn't work last time, because now the situation's changed. They're in a big dark patch of breeze. It's all over the place, but they made a massive gain as the Black Foils manoeuvre in front of the French team.
I've got a roll here. I got it. What are we doing? I don't know, mate. Put down.
A little bit of chaos out there.
Well, if they don't know what we're doing, I'm not sure any of the rest of us do. That's one of the slickest teams in world sailing, and they're struggling to piece it together and keep things smooth. 2 places lost on the Black Foils, and they're off the foils. There you go. DS Automobile France, excellent manoeuvre, kept the boat fast, kept the boat slick, and they've driven away from the Black Foils really quick.
Australia, DS Team France, Denmark now your top 3.
And you can see there the Spanish as well. As soon as you fall off the foils at the top of the course, there's less wind. You've got to be at big incident here. GBR have got to keep, they've got the right of way, sorry. Spain had to see it. Brilliant work by the strategists on board Los Gallos and the Black Foils there. Nico van Verden and Liv Mackay had their eyes on stalks to see that. The whole field of play changing all the time, isn't it, Hannah?
Yeah, that's right. And you can see just the difference in angle of the boats coming down the course. In that first leg, they were sailing almost perpendicular to those ladder lines, and now they're sailing almost across them. The pressure difference and the changing angle of the wind is making it really hard to predict the best strategy around the course.
So right now it is the Bonds Flying Rouge, the 3-time champions. They are out in front, guys. You've got DS Team France sitting in second. The battle for a top 3 is between Los Gallos, and it looks like the Black Foils coming back into form. It's going to be a tight one at this next gate.
Yeah, just a really good angle there. They've just managed to cut the corner on Los Gallos. Really sailed less distance, sailed it pretty fast. Lisa, final upwind leg of the race. A lot of the boats have been favouring that left-hand side, it seemed, on the last lap. Is there anything obviously changed?
All over the the show like a horse draws, isn't it?
Sounds like we've lost Lisa's comms there. We'll get back to her as we are on leg 7 of 8, the penultimate leg here on race number 1. We've got 3 more fleet races to go. Everyone's going to take a deep breath, and there's going to be a lot learned, Stevie, from this first race.
Well, yeah, a huge amount learned, but I think the interesting thing with this course, Todd, is to Lisa's point and what we've been seeing out in the race course. In some ways, there isn't a lot to learn because it's just that what you've learned is changing all the time. So I think it will just reinforce the fact that be accurate what you can be accurate with. Australia here, they've come way wide of those blue lines. That's our lay line that says you'll make the next gate. But they're just building margin in here. Los Gallos, middle of our screen, they've actually split away from the black foils and they're sailing into a huge gust of wind here on the Spanish boat. Potentially a big game for them against the New Zealand team at the top, but it's going to be a left turn here for the Aussies, and they should bring it home for the first race win, I reckon.
Tom Slingsby slings it around, and here we go. What a way to open up here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix in Auckland, as the Bons Flying Rouge gets the Emirates winning moment here on day number 1, race number 1.
McKinley Fowler there, Sam Newton. The grinders at the front of these boats are going to be absolutely exhausted. Black Foils have managed to shut the door on Los Gallos. French are going to come home in second place there. That was Hannah's pre-event favourites, actually, the French team. So great first event there. Some serious headwear at the back there for Quentin de la Pierre, trying to sort of protect himself from the incident we saw Chris Draper have. And as we see, it's very tight in the pack here. Good results for the Germans and the Brazilians in the middle of the fleet there. As we can see, GBR currently back in 12th.
So with Spain getting 4th, Denmark holds on for 5th, and it looks like Germany Deutsche Bank will get 6th, with Mobile Brazil 7th, just ahead of the US SailGP team.
Well, that was very, well, it was good. That is for sure. And for Mubadala Brazil, that's a really good starter race. USA, solid again out there. Artemis, not sure how they'll be feeling there. Outeridge normally loves the shifty conditions. I'm not sure what we've learnt in that race, Hannah, but what we have seen is it's very, very busy, and there's a lot of opportunity on this racetrack.
Good fighters.
Sebastian Snyder giving his review as they come in, and they will finish in 10th place. That leaves Emirates GBR, guys. Tough way to go after winning the first event in Perth less than a month ago. The Brits, the reigning and defending champions from season 5, they finish in 11th place. And Stevie, if my math is correct, that is 0 points.
Todd, there's nothing wrong with your thing there, yeah, and a bit of a shocker indeed, as Dylan said. Very difficult. I think, you know, this is the kind of conditions that Fletcher often likes, but I do think that dynamic environment where there's going to be a lot of wing trim and a lot of steering to find each other, this will be where him and Stuart Biff will really have to refine each other.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a day where it really rewards the team synergy. You've got to be working together, and it's so easy to get your head kind of stuck in the boat and not be able to see the breeze properly.
Yeah, I think one interesting thing that we should mention, we've not mentioned it to now, but actually Ian Jensen's knee's not recovered. So Glenn Ashby came in super sub. He's come out of the farm. He's back on the boat, but the Australians are sort of, you know, having to adapt as well out there.
So coming up on a minute to go before the start of the second race here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Auckland, Rolex SailGP Championship. All right, Stevie, under a minute to go, I want to get your thoughts. What did you learn, or Hannah learn, from that first race that will transpire here in the second race?
I think the top of the course is key. That's where you can make the big mistakes, is into sort of gate 3 if you're not fast there. But this pre-start is very, very hard to predict the acceleration. Look at those gusts of wind coming down. Darker patches, more breeze, better for your acceleration. But if you get there too early, or earlier than you planned on, you're going to have to hit the brakes. And we saw that timing was really tricky. Canada and late in again towards the bottom of the line here. Black foils at the bottom as well. All the boats start to manoeuvre back. Black foils cut the corner. Canada, it's a bit loose on board the North Star Canada boat. Los Gallos well positioned as well at the moment here, and it's now about lining things up. Bons Flying Rouge are liking the top of the course. Artemis has got the Rolex pole predictor on top of their wing. Can Outeridge convert from here? He could be shut out at the top of the line though. All about timing. France dive through the middle. USA, black foils middle of the line. Look well, look for that line to turn wide. Outeridge timing at the start there, just early on board the Swiss.
The umpires, Switzerland, early start penalty, go behind the whole fleet.
My word, that was close.
Costly.
So close. Artemis racing at the top. They're going to be able to absolutely drop the hammer. They can wind it up over the top of the fleet here, but on the inside, Los Gallos, you have to be very, very brave on board Artemis if they want to lead from there.
And at mark number 1, that is a thing of beauty. All 13 teams racing for the whole shot as Mubadala Brazil and Los Gallos out in front.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing here, you see Rockwool Denmark manoeuvre away. They're going to be in control of things. Where Artemis was sat on the outside of the wheel, if you don't lead, you're suddenly out of control of your decision. Look how loose it is on board the Mubadala Brazil there. They've done a nice job. They're in a big patch of breeze. You can see how dark the water is there. Los Gallos and Mubadala Brazil are going to be well positioned coming into gate 2.
Not easy conditions to nail those maneuvers, but you've got to be finding the pressure on the course, but it makes it much harder to sail the boat and keep it under control. You can see how hard it is just to get from one side to the other.
It looks good for the black foils and for Artemis at the moment there. They've got a nice angle, they've got back into good wind. Los Gallos have got the right of way. Black foils have got to make a decision here. We saw the right turn was pretty strong. It looks like Burling's going to try and slide across in front of everyone. He's not got the right of way, he's got to be sure.
Wow.
Oh, you've got to say, I mean, given what happened at the last event, he's not looking nervous out there, is he?
I'd say he was pretty lucky that Mubadala Brazil had that little incident falling off the foil there, having to rebuild all of their speed, but you've got to be brave in this fleet if you want to win races.
Todd, I'm going to try and throw it down and ask Lisa on the water out there. We can see the Los Gallos, the Spanish, heading in towards the Auckland shoreline there. It feels like there's more wind to the right, Lisa, on the course as we see a big incident between North Star and with the black foils. North Star having to take evasive action out there, and it's at the moment good breeze on board the black foils. They've got to be really careful that they manage to keep this locked in as we see North Star Canada really struggling. They are miles behind now.
Just Rockwool after, but no issue.
Getting reports after race number 1 that Canada had some issues on board, so that could attribute to where they are right now. Currently in dead last, they finished 13th in race number 1. So as they make their way up right now, it is the black foils out in front. It is Spain sitting in 2nd, and it is DS Team France at the bottom of your screen sitting in 3rd.
Okay, Los Gallos well positioned here. Look how they've got that boat looking quite smooth. Interesting, it's so dynamic out here that they're choosing not to swap the crew member side to side there. We could see the flight controller and the strategist on board Spain already early positioned, and as much as they've made a loss early on, it looks like DS Automobile and Los Gallos have made a gain. They've got the right of way on the black foils. Black foils need to stick this manoeuvre. Burling's done it. Lisa, it felt like the right-hand side should be good. Maybe on this upwind left leg it's been good again, but who's going to get this right at gate number 3?
Oh, it's so tricky to call. I have been surprised that they've been turning left, but as you clear the grandstand, there's this big bullet that comes out of the harbour, and so I think that's what's working on the upwind. That's what they're getting right now. As you can see, they've made the manoeuvre straight away, so this is actually going to go advantage to DS Team France.
Good breeze there. We see it's so heated in the middle of the pack out there. We see DS France have got good breeze. I think the black foils might hold on to the lead. They're back into good wind. And what we talk about often at this event, Todd, is to get to these finals, you've got to be consistent. One thing I can guarantee you, this weekend is going to be an absolute street fight. Nothing out here, really, other than how you manoeuvre your own boat is controllable. You've got to fight for every point you can. Right away, France. Spain have got to keep clear.
A big gain on the left. Okay, they're going to be inside. Stand by, drive round up. Stand by.
So that's Lee McMillan there talking about when they manoeuvre back on.
Oh, it's a big incident, a manoeuvre there. They've had to slow it up. Oh, they're going to lose a lot of here. Sorry about the language on board there. The French are going to lose an awful lot of distance. They got tangled up, and it's a good manoeuvre there. The black foils are heading back to where Contant de la Pierre wanted to go. This should be a good gain for the hometown favourites. Los Gallos, well, they're back in it. The two teams that missed the racing in Perth, well, they're showing us they've still got it.
And at gate number 4, the DP World Gate, it is the black foils, the home team out in front. DS Team France, lucky to have Lee McMillan still on board, and Los Gallos in 3rd as they've now moved ahead of France into 2nd place.
Yeah, gains to be made here as we see the Bonds Flying Rouge are going to get a right turn. They're going to make a gain, I think, here. They've got themselves in spade, leading out of a mark, and they're heading towards Breeze. Heading out towards Breeze where Artemis are. Artemis, they're in some good wind on that side of the course here. There's opportunities all around this racetrack, and we saw that as long as you're in wind, and as long as you stay in wind, you make some big gains. Mubadala Brazil, well, they were brilliant at Mark 1 and Gate 2, but they've struggled to keep their manoeuvres good. just hear the comms there between Paul Goodison and Martini Grail at the back of that Brazilian boat, just trying to pick your way and avoid the traffic as hard as anything. Hannah, you've been on the boats, haven't you? How hard is it actually seeing each other?
It's really hard, and today everything's so dynamic. Things are changing. 1 minute you're crossing a boat, the next minute you're not. So to say that you've got to be dynamic today is just the biggest understatement we can say, really.
Here we go, the Blackfoils. I don't know if they're just trying to keep the fans happy, but they're constantly heading back towards that left turn under the grandstand here. It's definitely going to be the easiest option for them. Looks like a slight less distance to sail that way, but it's definitely high risk whether you get breeze or not. How well do they execute that manoeuvre? Flight controller Leo Takahashi. Well, he's been in the role a year now, and that was very, very slick on board there. Emirates GBR, they're up to third. We're going to see a split with Los Gaias. The British need a result after a disappointing first one.
Yeah, GBR finishing the first race in 11th place. Meanwhile, New Zealand looking to bank 2 good races right out of the gate. The Kiwis, the Blackfoils, finishing race number 1 in 3rd place, and they lead here in race number 2. Remember, we are scheduled for 4 races today.
Yeah, there's a bit of a tight one in the pack there, Todd, between the Swiss. I'm not sure the Swiss saw the Italians. Red Bull Italy. You can see Phil Robertson, he's got his head on a stalk there, looking around for breeze. As soon as you're in the pack, it's so hard to actually be able to sail the course you want to sail. We're starting to see a bit of a pattern that actually that left turn, it might be risky, but if you manoeuvre straight after it, it's really hard here. We're on board the Swiss. You can see them coming in. They've not got the right of way, and just too late to turn, really, there for me. Someone needed to be talking to Seb a little bit earlier and getting that manoeuvre put in, because that was just too late manoeuvring, too much risk in the portfolio.
So the Blackfoils out in front, they make the turn for the gate. It'll be back up the course and then to the finish line. Nice lead as Emirates GBR has now moved into 2nd place. And look at Artemis with Nathan Outridge. They are in 3rd, Los Gaias 4th. DS Team France, guys, they were at the front of the pack now, and they have not recovered. They've dropped all the way back to 5th.
Yeah, they had that one bad manoeuvre where Lee got a bit tangled up, and, you know, they've kept the wheels on. There's not a disastrous result, but it just shows you one mistake of your handling, that's in your control. If you make that mistake, you can lose a lot. Artemis, good result here. All the boats turning left. Straight manoeuvre there from the Blackfoils. They're coming off to try and cut the rest of the fleet off. But Lisa told us earlier, don't chase and sail with the pack behind you. You've got to sail what you're in and trust your own racing skills. Look at this here. Emirates GBR 9th to 2nd, and if you can overtake boats on a day like today, you're going to be doing pretty well. With Butler Brazil, well, that's not the picture you want to paint, is it, Hannah?
No, and I think Emirates GBR are just doing a really nice job of picking up one boat at a time. They're happy to split, and I think they've done a really nice job by taking that left turn, making sure that the closest competitors had to follow them around that mark too.
Well, Stevie Morrison said this is going to be a street fight all weekend long. This is like that old video game Frogger, just getting across the street, crossing between boats at high speeds. This is craziness, as right now it is the Blackfoils of New Zealand, the home team, that leads the way. They finish 3rd in the first race, looking for a win here in race number 2.
Todd, I'm not sure if I'm more down with the kids than you, but I was going to go with Mario Kart. I've never heard of Froggo. It's definitely got Mario Kart vibes out here. You can really get charged up, and at the moment you can see Los Gaias. They've got a big gust of wind. They've got a good shift. They've got the right of way. Fletcher's got to be very, very accurate here.
So this one is far from over. It'll be one more maneuver, and then they will be on to the final home stretch.
Yeah, Blackfoils are going to get this done. Los Gaias should be okay, but Artemis are going to dive inside here. They have got the right of way. Outridge, I can put money on it, will have put a protest on Los Gaias there. He's tried to dive inside. He had the right of way. That'll be interesting how that one goes, because that looked very, very tight.
And the Emirates winning moment goes to the home team. The Blackfoils take the win in race 2.
This is the umpires. Penalty Spain, not giving Mark room, go behind Sweden.
Yeah, and that's interesting because look at this. The Artemis team have fallen off the foils here. Artemis are actually hemorrhaging points as we go along the leg now. We can see they're off the foils. All these places Spain are going to have to go back behind. France gain a place. As soon as you fall off the foils, I won Nathan. He was aggressive going in there. He proved a point. But I think he might have lost himself a lot of actual racing points by being too aggressive. It's not the kind of venue where that little delicate detailings, you've got to keep your boat fast at the top of the course. For me, that was too aggressive by Artemis, and they've cost themselves there.
And a huge example of that potential wind shadow at the top. They just didn't have the space to rebuild the speed and get back up on the foil after that mark incident.
Not sure he's finished yet. Oh, he's just across the line, but they've dropped way back down the fleet. Spain are going to go the whole way back behind them as well. Costly for the Spanish, but yeah, I feel that they did have the right of way, but sometimes prioritise keeping your boat fast.
Now the team's all trying to poach off and get these final positions, picking up an extra point here and there as US SailGP team has come to almost a complete halt. Canada will get past them into 10th.
Yeah, what a comeback by North Star. Remember how far out the back they were, Todd, at the beginning of the race. They've seen me bundle of Brazil. Martini just dialing round the outside. Wow.
And it is split fleet racing, so we've got 5 boats on the water. This consists of group number A. Group number B will have their opportunities in a moment. Stevie, I think, Hannah, you might agree with this as well. This was probably the right decision considering what happened yesterday.
Yeah, I think you know, it was obviously amazing events yesterday, and we really wish the best for those athletes in their recovery, and it's nice to see the boats back out there and remind ourselves what an amazing event SailGP can put on.
Go where you want.
So here we go, 1 minute away from the start of history here in SailGP. It's a Super Sunday split fleet racing. This is Group A. It'll be a little more room, Hannah, and I'm sure some of these teams with the conditions that Lisa reported on are going to enjoy having that space.
Yeah, and the Prix certainly looks like it's up at the moment as they approach, heading behind the line to set up their final approach before start time.
I think interesting as well, the group here, we can see Emirates GBR, big favourites in this group, really. If you think of the traditional ranking, it's perhaps ended up with a slightly, let's say, weaker group here, but let's see if the other teams can prove us wrong. Emirates GBR, bottom of the box. They'll be looking to try and dominate that downwind end of the start line. That shows where the pole predictor sits there. That's the shortest way. Phil Robertson, Red Bull Italy, shuts the door in front of Emirates GBR. At top of the line, the Rolex pole predictor sits on board North Star Canada. Quickly changes to Red Bull Italy, but I think the Italians will struggle to accelerate from here. All about timing now. North Star winding up. Germany, Deutsche Bank are coming through hot. Oh, what a start by Eric Heil out of the middle of the line. The Germans are lit up, and it's now all about who's going to drive hard towards here. Mark 1, look how high they're flying. It's got a skid on the Italian boat. They got too high. No. They got too high, too high. They skidded sideways, massive leeway skid. No boats near them. They've got the boat back under control. It's really dramatic at Mark 1.
As they make the turn at mark number 1, Emirates GBR finds himself underneath the Germans. So Germany, Deutsche Bank yielding that position with North Star Canada on the outside. Brazil's come correct, so Mobudla Brazil back in the conversation.
Course opens up now, Hannah, so it's all about finding the better breeze. I do like where Deutsche Germany Bank are going. We can see on the bottom of our screen, darker patch on the water. That should signal more wind. Big boat speed gain for Germany coming here. Look at them head down the course.
Yeah, that huge patch of pressure there. That looks like that wind direction shifted to the right as well, allowing them to sail straight down the course and really make a gain over Emirates GBR.
I think what we've got here, Todd, is we've got big gain for Germany coming. They're going to have the right of way, but you can expect Emirates GBR to sail back into that German wind as we move down. It could well still be tight. Dylan Fletcher's going to have a chance, but Eric Heil, brilliant execution here. And can North Star Canada make it to gate 2? Oh, they both are all going to try and do a left turn here. Double manoeuvre by the Germans. Emirates GBR are going to be very fast around the outside.
Too wide at the bottom gate as Germany tries to stay clear. Here comes Emirates GBR on their right and North Star Canada on their left.
Germany have got to keep clear. Chance to put the clamps on at least. We're seeing a boat desperate to head towards the right-hand side of the upwind leg here. Is there a big advantage breeze-wise that way?
Oh, Stevie, it's so hard to tell. It is sort of funneling along that grandstand a little bit with that little bit more west in it. But as you can see, everyone's a little bit out of control, and that's because when you get that big power surge from the wind, it really changes the force on the boat. The other thing we're seeing, there's this big cloud moving in, so I'm expecting the breeze to increase quite rapidly very soon.
That's good.
Hannah, I think the one thing that for the people, you know, you can kind of only see the interaction of the water with the wind quite suddenly on conditions like this. Look at the size of that grandstand.
Yeah, you can see, look at those white caps, the white marks on the water just showing just quite how windy it is. They've got the big jib on at the moment, which not only does it kind of help you stabilise the direction, but actually they're going to be super overpowered in these conditions. So they're really trying to keep the boat just under control as they sail directly up the course in this right-hand shift.
Yeah, massive wind shift, big difficult decision here, Todd. Potentially an extra manoeuvre for Emirates GBR, but it's high risk to go slow. Now they're going to follow here. Left turn, early jibe coming for both these boats. Tricky manoeuvre. Look at all the wing.
North Star Canada, they went over 100.
Oh, that was so fast, but both boats a little bit out of control.
No.
Big gust. Top end of the course, Todd. You've just got no time to see the wind coming. We always talk about, can you be proactive rather than reacting to the wind? Well, it's nearly impossible if you can't see what's coming. You're guessing.
Coming down. I'm kissing windward.
Really top-end conditions we can see here. Just trying to keep the boat under control. It's a game of pushing as hard as you can, but knowing where the limit is and just reining back a little bit. You need to push, but you can't push too hard because the consequences will be massive.
Yeah, I think you liken it, if you like, to a Formula 1 race if it's raining. You know, you've got 800 horsepower, but if you use all of them at once, you're going to just spin out. So you've got to judge how much you put down, but there is a lot of wind on that race course right now. Lisa, have we seen an increase?
Yeah, as I was saying, that cloud's pushing through and a massive increase. Everyone's very much struggling to get the boat around the course. The round-ups we're seeing right now are incredibly difficult. So this is very top-end sailing for these athletes.
Trying to harness Mother Nature here as they make their way at Gate 4, the DP World Gate. We are halfway through race number 1. We are split fleet racing situation here. Group B getting ready to go. And right now it is North Star Canada out in front. Emirates GBR sits in second, all the way back to Germany, Deutsche Bank, and here comes Martini Grail and Mubadala Brazil making a move.
Yeah, done a nice job around the course here, Todd, of keeping it simple. North Star Canada have done that as well. What I wanted to ask Hannah is, we've got the small wings, okay, but that's the voice of Paul Goodison getting pretty heated on board. They're trying to get the boat up through the wind into that safe angle, but they've got the J1 jib. They've got the bigger front sail on the boat, and I think that's why they're a bit overpowered.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, the jib, while smaller than the wing, it is such a massive influence on the way, the balance of the boat. It really influences how you have to drive the boat, the feedback through the rudders, especially at the bottom of the top marks. They need to be releasing all of the tension in that sail to help keep the balance of the boat. But at the moment, I'd say the J2 will probably be the better call for these conditions.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting thing to watch as it goes on here, Todd. We're nearly halfway through the race. You can hear Paul Campbell-James saying he will make the left turn, but they're going to be slow for this acceleration. And again, we saw how difficult. Look how slow they are. As soon as the boat slows down, the load magnifies massively. They've got to be careful with this turn away from the wind.
Giles Scott, the driver for North Star Canada, a two-time Olympic gold medalist. And looking at the speeds now, pick up as he makes the turn. Behind him, the reigning and defending champions from season 5, it is Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR. Look at the speeds pick up into the 90s.
Yeah, much better manoeuvre there. Just because Emirates GBR were faster coming in. Left-hand side of our screen, Mubadala Brazil. Well, Martini's got the boat back under control, chasing down Germany as we see GBR on our Rolex chasing time, bottom of the screen. It's a gain to Emirates GBR from that well-executed manoeuvre. Canada is still slow. They're sailing into a lot of wind on the left-hand side of our screen. They're going to get going very, very quick as both these boats start to arrive at what can only be called the massive moment of jeopardy at the top of the course here. Big acceleration coming.
On board.
Good execution again, Hannah. Both boats had reasonable boat speed into that.
Yeah, it's so important to be sailing as fast as you can. Kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, nice.
Settled, nice fairway here, no rush.
Okay, 5 down.
Todd, one very wise man once said to me, to finish first you must finish. And Paul Goodison, Olympic gold medalist back in 2008, but very experienced sailors. We see a split course here. This should be advantage Emirates GBR, but they're slow at the moment here. Fletcher hoping for one and into the top. Final upwind leg. It's got to be accurate.
So they'll head back to the top of the course. There you see Canada at the top of your screen. They have the lead right now. Emirates GBR, they are in second place. Remember, this is the battle to get to the event final. Only the top 3 teams between the split fleet will get there. So it's all about points. What can you do? So Mubadala Brazil still battling as they sit in third. But the top of the course looks like it is slowing down. Lisa, as we go down to you, what has changed over the last 5 minutes, if anything?
Yeah, so what happens is when this rain pushes in, you get a surge of wind, but when the clouds over you, the wind drops a little bit. So everyone's been able to settle in a little bit, but it is actually probably a little bit more patchier, which means the angles are hugely different. So a little bit lighter, but the range is bigger, so it's still just as difficult.
Crucial moment here, Lisa. We've got a cross coming. North Star are going to try and stick this manoeuvre. They've got to be clear of Emirates GBR. Oh, Fletcher's going to protest. Not for me, Dylan. That's a Hollywood there, mate, in my opinion. But can they make it to the top of the course with no more manoeuvres? If Fletcher's judged this right, he should be ahead. But North Star are going to be a lot faster. Could be a slow manoeuvre for Emirates GBR and a trailer park round the outside for North Star. Let's see how this next 30 seconds plays out.
Should be all good with that.
Hannah Mills thinks they're good for the turn, Todd, but they're slow here, and they're going to have to accelerate hard under the crowd. Big moment coming up in the race.
Matching wits are 2 Olympic gold medalists. Dylan Fletcher on the left side, Emirates GBR, and you've got Giles Scott of North Star Canada. Here we go.
He's hooked him. He managed to slow the boat enough and hold North Star outside. Match race manoeuvre there by Fletcher. Very aggressive. Oh, look how high they've got on North Star. They've accelerated, but they've got to stay out the back here. Great work by Dylan Fletcher. Great work by Giles Scott. 2 masters trying to milk it across the finish line.
And as they come to the line, the Emirates winning moment goes to Emirates GBR, who get it done on the penultimate leg. They get past North Star Canada. What a great showdown here, and that was just race number 1.
Oh, there we go. That was busy out there. Excuse any language out there. You know, Hannah Mills there. Just the sheer sort of tension and emotional investment in the racing. It's very hard for the sailors today.
But Stevie and Hannah, to Hannah's point, can you imagine in these conditions if all 13 boats were out there right now?
I can imagine it, Todd. I'm quite glad to not be seeing it. Red Bull Italy dive on the inside of Mubadala Brazil here. Phil Robertson, points are going to count when we get to this tighter racing. Really, really crucial points in the season here. Red Bull Italy, Phil Robertson, it's not over till it's over. Good comeback. They're going to try and glide across the line here. But no, I just think the wind is so dynamic and changeable, Todd. It's different when the wind's smooth and you can kind of...
Consistent.
Yeah, and you can sort of map out your course and you have that bit of predictability. It's a different skill set. It's slightly more accurate, slightly more detail. You've got to sail with more margin on a day like today, but things can change that are out of your control, and yeah, more boats on the course just puts too much jeopardy.
So the final results right now, it is Emirates GBR that gets the win. North Star Canada gets second place. It's all about points. Germany Deutsche Bank holds on for third after being in that whole shot position, and Red Bull Italy follow up with fifth place, with Mubadala Brazil now coming in fifth, and they will take the final points. And now we will try to see who goes to the top 3 at the end of 2 races for each group. This is Group B.
Have you boarded up? Going on it.
And so now we are just 1 minute away from racing for Group B.
All right, let's go now.
And Hannah, I feel like this group really is pretty stacked. Sometimes it's the way it can work out in group racing, that the results are from yesterday and they just pick them off in an order. First goes in Group A, second and third Group B, fourth and fifth Group A again. And it's just the way it's worked out. This group is stacked.
Yeah, I think with just 2 races yesterday, scores sometimes, you know, that's just the way that it falls. But the scores today really count for everything if the boats want to make that last 3 final.
32 seconds to go here. See Swiss early back into the box. Australia, Bond's Flying Rouge coming in late. That's been working quite well in this windy conditions. It's a small box. Speed you travel here goes so fast. Artemis, right hand bottom of the gate there. They're going to struggle for space with the Bond's Flying Rouge spinning in front, I'd imagine here. USA, they're out the back. Pole positions down at the leeward end of the line. Bond's Flying Rouge look early right now, although they've got the Rolex pole predictor on the top of their wing at the moment. Acceleration game now. Rockwool, Denmark look well lined up. Let's watch them wind it up. Line's about to turn white and we're going to be go. Great start by the Swiss. Rockwool, Denmark, great, but it's slow for the Bond's Flying Rouge. Couldn't accelerate the boat, which has parked Artemis, and it should be Rockwool that drive away from here, but you've got to manage the power on this leg to Mark 1.
Hard puff again in 2, 1. Want to stay out hard puff.
And as they approach mark number 1 here for Group B, it is Rockwell Racing on the inside, the Swiss on the outside, and there is Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team holding down third.
Well done by the Swiss there, that's so fast. any of our eagle-eyed viewers, as we see this first manoeuvre, that front sail's smaller now, Hannah, there's been a change.
Yeah, that's right, and I think for the conditions that seems like the right choice. All the boats there are really trying to make sure that they can manoeuvre at that first mark as quick as possible, and US SailGP team just managed to get around on the inside there and get their way ahead of Rockwool Denmark.
Oh, that was so close, Hannah. I can't believe how close they pushed it.
This is the umpires. Penalty USA. Windward boat not keeping clear. Go behind Denmark.
Oh, to my eye, that was too close. In these conditions, that was so risky. Right of way was with Denmark. I think they both stayed clean, but yeah, I got to go with the umpires. That was too close in these conditions for me. The Swiss are driving away. Disappointing first day here in Auckland, but at the moment they look good, although a great wind shift on Artemis and the Bons Flying Rouge. Bons Flying Rouge straight down the course. They're progressing towards gate 2. Don't have the right of way, but could be second by the time we leave this bottom gate. Oh, they're going to be winning after this gate. In fact, the Aussies have just nailed this downwind leg. Thread the needle, Tom Slingsby.
So at gate 2, the DP World Gate, it is the Bons Flying Rouge who make the turn to the left-hand side. Everyone else looks to be going to the right-hand side. And now that's a good time to check in with Lisa Darmanin down on the water. Lisa, from Group A to Group B, have conditions changed at all?
Just go, keep it on 2.
Well, it has actually died off a little bit, like the end of the last race, but the thing that has changed is this group actually changed down to their smaller jib, so the mid-sized jib, while the other fleet was racing. So a little bit more control out here and lighter breeze, but as you can see, the angles are just changing so much. So, you know, the athletes will be using their eyes, but also the technology they've got on the boat to look at what angle they're sailing and try to predict what's coming next, because it is hard to see out here.
It is really hard. We just saw the Oracle Cloud there. There's up to 4 or 5 different kilometres an hour, sorry, 5 or 6 different wind speeds on the course there. Everywhere's different, a lot of different pressure and a lot of advantage potentially can be gained out here. But as soon as you get a bit wobbly on these boats, you just lose your flow, and Artemis have looked a bit shaky. Can they refine that rhythm? How do you reset yourself, Hannah?
Yeah, it's really tricky. Everything is so intense. A lot of people are just trying to filter out too much information. It's the team that can do that the best who often comes out best results-wise. And I think for the Bons Flying Rouge, they're so experienced in these conditions. I would probably expect them to see them walk away, so it's more about this middle pack. They're going to be really fighting the boat and trying to find a bit of space, regather their composure, pick their way around the course.
And right now it is the Bons Flying Rouge giving a master class here in Group B. They have a massive lead over Artemis, US SailGP, Switzerland, Denmark, and Los Gallos, Spain. And Stevie, it took a long time for Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team to get rid of that penalty, and it's cost them, but they've made some gains on that side of the course.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as it's this windy, it's actually pretty hard to slow these things down. The Australians nicely lined up here for gate 3. They should be fast. Los Gallos have got a slight boat issue at the moment, so they're way out the back. They were looking good for a final here. Really bad news for Los Gallos to be 6th at the moment, not really in this race, but the Bons Flying Rouge, I mean, that's a masterclass. Look at the ride control, look how stable the boat looks, and it's flat water at the top. They're going to be very, very fast here. Slingsby's watching the boats behind, expect a manoeuvre to try and match things out, and Artemis, well, there you go. There's plenty of aged experience on that boat, and they have refound their rhythm. They're up to 2nd. Big opportunity for Artemis on the water today. They could move themselves up into a position in the final.
Nathan Outridge, a crafty driver indeed, Olympic gold and silver medalist. He's driven for Japan, several other teams, and kind of a no-brainer, Hannah and Stevie, when they were looking for a driver for this squad.
Yeah, so much experience, especially in these boats, and he's put an amazing squad together. I think, you know, it takes a while to settle into the crew configurations. Oh, it looks like there's a problem with the Swiss boat here.
Well, they've got slow. There can be no wind up there. It's pretty light at the top of the course. They could have just executed a poor manoeuvre and fallen off the foils. Here we go. We're on board here. They look good to me right now. They're going to turn away from the wind. Look at the foil on the right-hand side. Oh, the foil comes up. That's probably a button press. Someone can easily just stand on a button to accidentally pop the foil up, and there you go. Mistake on board, and they've just fallen down off the foils. The other board's gone down just fine, and the board's, yeah, board system's working well. Human error for me on that one. They've hit a button, fallen off the foils. Real shame for the Swiss, but it's opened the door for Artemis. They're up to 2nd. Slingsby, well, he's down the road. It's just about getting this boat home. Deliver your boat home, Tom Slingsby.
And turning, slow turn. And turning a little faster, and board.
So calm on board the Bons Flying Rouge. As you see Artemis take the right-hand turn. Not been the favoured gate so far, but if they can find some breeze, I think they're feeling pretty happy with 2nd. They'll probably just be defending from there.
Well, another famous quote from a very similar person to my first, you must finish first, is that keep it simple, stupid. And I think Artemis Racing there, just minimising manoeuvres, keep the boat fast. If the boat's fast, it's unloaded, and those manoeuvres are a lot easier. Doing an extra manoeuvre at the bottom, it might gain you a couple of metres, but the risk potential of getting slow is so huge. So, bit of experience there from Outeridge. He knows he's not going to catch the Bond Flying Ruse. Keep it simple. Get a second, and let's go and fight again in the next race.
This is like 5 of 8, the first race for Group B, as you've got Australia out in front.
Better pressure right side, really light down the left.
And forward.
There you go. It's one of the great features of SailGP, Hannah, isn't it? The coaches there, that's Ben Durham, Bull, he's known as, able to talk to the Aussies, but the Aussies have ended up in the left. They are a bit light there, but they've got one more manoeuvre to come. They've kept it foiling. Slingsby sounds pretty calm, so things have got to be good. One more manoeuvre, and then it's a sprint to the finish. There they are. There's the coaches on shore. Ben Durham, middle-ish shot there. He called the breeze, but oh no, sorry, another lap to go. My mistake here. Going to turn away from the breeze on the Bonds Flying Ruse, and they're just going to shoot off, sailing back to that right-hand side. So he did listen to his coach. Nice to see.
Problem front of the wing here. I think we're I cannot see them. They're lower. It'll be around the front.
Prioritising the communication there, even though there's fewer boats in the course. Things are changing so quickly, the angles are changing, crossing, not crossing, so really important communication between the strategist and the driver there.
No, we're okay to just drive out of here early. I think there's a nice bit of time.
There you go. It's really interesting, those comms, isn't it, Hannah? I think on a day like today, if you can keep things calm, you can keep the comms smooth, then you plan ahead. You're planning ahead. You're not reacting to what's happening. You're just executing what you want to do. Then you can sail smooth. And Lisa, it looks like there's still a pretty open race course, but the manoeuvres are hard out there today, aren't they?
Yeah, it's really tough out here. As you can see, you can kind of go both ways, but it's really the timing that you get around the mark. So when Rockwell and USA, there's this beautiful bit of pressure that they're getting now, and that's going to carry them nicely down the course.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa. They are on like 6 of 8 with the Bonds Flying Ruse way out in front. Spain, Los Gallos, the champions from season 4, they are having some problems. And let's go back and take a look at this and see what's going on for Diego Botín and his squad.
We're on board the Spanish boat here. We see them.
Just a short time ago, Stevie. See if you can spot the problem.
Okay, so the left-hand side of the screen there, that board they would have hoped to have raised, so they've hit the bottom, the opposite pressure problem to the Swiss, where they got it up when they didn't plan to. But yeah, they've done a manoeuvre there. They're going to drop one board, they want to lift the other one, but it wouldn't come up, so it's a mechanism not quite working. It's actually on the starboard side, so that's not the side that got fixed. So I'm interested to see what's happened with that, but they've got the tech team on board. Sure, there'll be a real battle on to get them ready for the second race for Group Prix here.
Well, this is deja vu all over again. If you flash back to yesterday, in the first race of the day, it was Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Ruse that came out and made a statement here in Auckland as they claimed the first win before that incident with the Black Foils and DS Team France. And right now, Stevie, he looks so comfortable here on these waters of Auckland.
Yeah, I get the impression the breeze has dropped a little bit and the boat's better balanced. Hannah mentioned how if you've got a big front sail, you see the one here that's about to flap as they turn through the wind. Of course it doesn't flap, it's Tom Slingsby, silly me. It was perfect, just ghosted the boat through the breeze. But that smaller sail, the boat's better balanced, so, you know, as they turn it, all the grip's better set up, and they've just got the boat tuned in a bit better, so they look smoother. Be interesting to see Group A on this better configuration out here. But yeah, Slingsby, he loves these conditions. A few wind shifts, you can minimise the distance around the course, you can find a bit more pressure, and, you know, people can make mistakes.
Well, they certainly didn't have the best start. Remember getting off the line here at the start of the race for Group B, and it was Slingsby towards the back as it was the Americans out in front. But as they come to the end of the race for Group number B, the Emirates winning moment will go the way of the Bonds Flying Ruse.
Nice one. Well done, guys.
I think that's a little bit of experience as well, though, Todd, to be perfectly honest. It's not the day where you have to be leading Part 1. It's the kind of day where it's a bit more of the hare and the tortoise, you know, you just have to be steady and smooth around the course. Very easy to go crazy fast, but things can go bad. Artemis here, they're going to come across in second, and they've really personified that. They got a little bit wobbly, calm things down, back for a second, great result.
So Nathan Outeridge and Artemis come through, and then is a big gap. Good race, though, for Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team, Stevie. They had themselves way in the back, and then they get the penalty, and now they fought themselves back to third place. So the US will take third in race number 1.
Ready, board here? I'm all good. On board.
So the Americans coming through in third place. Now the battle is on for the remaining points. And Stevie, this is a whole different scoop of math. You and Hannah crack out your abacuses because it is different than what we've normally had with 13 going, and it's straightforward. Now you've got 2 groups, the points are split in half, and now we have to figure out some way to get 3 boats out of 2 groups for an event final.
Yeah, and I think the thing, you know, the simple fact is you want to get as many points as you can. That's the key. We want to end up with as many points as possible. So when any of the graphs go up on the screen or any of the tables go up, the boats with the higher number are going to be the ones with a better chance of getting through to the final. So in that sense, it's simple. And we'll see when these boats come across the line where things wind up and stuff. But one thing's also sure is as soon as you have fewer races, Hannah, the margins are minute.
Yeah, and that's why we always say you've got to hit the ground running with an event like this. You can't afford to start on a bad race. So for the teams that have got a bit of catching up to do, they'll be making sure that gaining every point that they can in these races, but it's not easy out there.
So Stevie is at a massive advantage that there are just 5 boats for Group A as opposed to 6 groups for Group B.
Yes and no. Simple answer for my opinion.
Way to take a stand.
I kind of feel like in these conditions you're racing yourself. The wind's so shifty and so changeable that if you've got to deliver your boat round the course smoothly and sail fast, that's so much easier said than done. But yeah, I don't think it matters who else is out there with you too much. It's about racing yourself and racing yourself well.
20 seconds to go before the start of Group A as we have split the fleet today here in Auckland. Stevie, look at the wind speed. It is picking up, so this is going to be very sporty as we're 10 seconds away.
Yeah, bottom end of the line looks good to me, and we can see that Emirates GBR are lined up well. Phil Robertson on Red Bull Italy are good, but the Rolex pole predictors on Great Britain here. Emirates GBR look like they're going to get it done. What a start by Fletcher, and he's at full speed. They're going to be down the road come Mark 1 here. Massive opportunity for the Brits, but you've got to be careful to judge how hard you push on this first leg to Mark 1. Key thing to watch along here is how much is the foil coming out. You can see all the boats are a bit lower in the water than yesterday. Yesterday there was a lot of foil showing, and that's how you generate those side skids. They might not be going at maximum speed, but you've got control and you've got the chance of being consistent.
Emirates GBR, the reigning and defending champions here, coming into season 6, and the winners of the first event in Perth last month. They tip the clock and they go 90 kilometers an hour, and they have the lead as they get the whole shot at Mark 1.
You see Neil Hunter hanging onto that wing, Hannah at the front. I mean, Dylan Fletcher spun the boat there, accurate landing out of the manoeuvre, and they're away. Red Bull Italy are keeping it tight though, as a North Star and Germany Deutsche Bank. This is a tight race on the downwind. Let's get up into the Oracle Cloud. Look at that live speed. GBR, well, they've accelerated out of that manoeuvre quicker. They're going so quick, but they just got more wind as well, Han.
Yeah, that's right, but Germany Deutsche Bank do a really nice job. They pulled off that manoeuvre a little bit earlier, making some gains down the course. The breeze is up. We're over 32 kilometers an hour of breeze, so this turn-up's going to be really crucial.
Gate 2, the DP World Gate, and it is all on. Germany makes the cross. Emirates GBR goes to the bottom. So will Red Bull Italy with Phil Robertson. Giles Scott, North Star Canada coming in very hot.
Yeah, they judged that very well. Interestingly, 2 boards in the water there for Canada. That helps with control as well. Of course, it's more drag, but it was a beautifully tight rounding and a lot of control. So teams are having to find ways to manage the compromise. Pure boat speed versus control. Vorsprung Dutch technique, I believe the Germans call it, Todd.
Pressing, very slow, big build.
This is leg 3 of 6. It is Emirates GBR, Red Bull Italy, North Star Canada. Brazil, after a terrible start, they sit in 4th place. And there you see Germany Deutsche Bank. That should actually be back around 5 and 4 should be swapped with Brazil.
Lisa, I mean, I know we're saying it's shifty out there, but it does feel like if you come to the right-hand side of the course as you look upwind, so more the side where Emirates GBR are at the moment and where Germany are, feels like there's a gain that way. I'm not sure if Lisa heard that, but I just feel like what I mean by that is you look at the bottom of our screen, it looks like there's a little bit of a darker bit of wind, Hannah, maybe, and just constantly seems to be a gain to the teams that come this way. Up where Red Bull Italy are in Canada, they're able to minimise the manoeuvres, but you don't get as good a view on the wind because of the grandstand, do you? The wind's sort of a bit more of a surprise, perhaps a bit more of a lucky one needed.
Yeah, that's right, and sometimes when you head that way, right underneath the grandstand, you can be lucky, you can have good pressure under there, but also you might end up with no wind, and then you're sort of stuck going in and out in lighter pressure. And I think Emirates GBR look like they're doing a really nice job just now. Really good shift, sailing right up the ladder lines in good pressure, and North Star Canada struggling to come out of that left-hand corner.
Yeah. Crucial manoeuvre here. All about trying to keep the wing quite near the centre of the pod just before the bear away. big moment for Stuart Biffle here. He was a bit wobbly on the first race, but this one looks pretty much picture perfect to me. Yeah, look at that. Wing stays near the middle, boat accelerates tight in the pack.
Ooh,
inside
this is going to be
here.
close.
North Star have got the right of way, but Deutsche Bank, Deutsche Bank are over the top. They're clean, they own the mark. Red Bull Italy have got to be careful of North Star Canada here. Rob Robertson's got to be sure, and they've got to accelerate the boat well. Very smooth by all three teams there. Now you've got to get away and accelerate into the next manoeuvre. North Star, great work by Giles Scott. Had to be an early manoeuvre, but can they accelerate quick enough?
And everyone chasing Emirates GBR out in front. Hannah Diamond's former team as we go down on the water one more time. Check in with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, it looks like there's holes all over this course. We go from 90 kilometers an hour where they drop down to 30.
Right turn again.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's making it so difficult, and you have to think so far ahead when you're moving this fast as athletes. And the other thing is the ley line, so where you do your manoeuvre and you're trying to line up for the next gate, that's changing as well depending on how much breeze you have and what direction it's coming from. So it's like, it's really challenging out here, but obviously Emirates Great Britain are, as you said, Steve, before, just keeping it simple and sailing their own race and doing a really good job of it.
They've done a nice bit wobbly around there. I think, so, by my maths, if Emirates GBR finish first here, they will book themselves a place in the final. For the other three teams, who knows? Fletcher's tense. He's not enjoying the speed, and they're very slow there at the bottom of the course. Big opportunity for Germany, Deutsche Bank. They're going to split the course here. Bit of a reset needed. Quite right, Hannah Mills. It's all about Emirates GBR re-accelerating, but opportunity. As soon as you've got that kind of leverage, as a tactician, you're nervous, aren't you? I mean, the wind shift looks good to Emirates GBR now. If it rotates left at all, could be a gain back here as Italy. It's not looking good for the Italians. They've had a wobble and they're off the foils. They've missed that one. Yeah, if it shifts to the left, Hannah, chance for Germany to gain here.
Yeah, that's right. And I think to Lisa's point,
they're on board Italy there, and we can see them. They've dropped the board into a jibe, but they just got a bit low as they dropped the board. The boat stayed too low in the water, too grippy, which meant that Robertson had to really spin it, and that just threw them off the bow there. The load on the turning, the G-force on these things.
Almost lost a team member there with a big spray, so it is still Emirates GBR out in front. This is like 5 of 6, and they are just cruising away. Stevie, look at the gusts. They seem to be picking the right course and the right spot every single time.
really nice and calm on board there. I'm sure it doesn't feel that way, but their communication just seems like they're really happy with how they're sailing the boat. They've got a nice cover on Germany there, so it'd be very hard for them to get past from this position.
They've done a nice job. We're into the finish here, Todd. After that, they're just about keeping up to track of where we are getting around this course, yeah. And as much as they look like they've got a bit of a split, Emirates GBR have been happy to do an extra manoeuvre. I think one thing I've seen from Emirates GBR today, they're happy to do an extra manoeuvre on the upwind leg to put themselves in good wind for the top of the course.
So Emirates GBR make the turn as they can see the finish line, and this may be just enough points to put them into the event final. Meanwhile, Germany, Deutsche Bank having their own private battle with North Star Canada and Giles Scott. They have the speed, and it looks like they're going to get the mark. But as they approach the line, it will be Emirates GBR that comes across, and the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Brits here on Super Sunday as they close in on this victory and a potential spot in the event final here in Auckland.
I could see that happening, mate.
Two foils in. Two foils in gliding. They're already debriefing the race there, and they're clearly enjoying their sailing out here. Great result for Germany, Deutsche Bank. They're going to throw an extra manoeuvre. North Star Canada, I think it was worth trying to sling it in there, but all the teams behind made mistakes. They had a bad manoeuvre at some point in the race, and a bad manoeuvre today, it's 50 or 60 metres that you just can't afford to do. So really got to respect the basics out there, because they're just not in any way easy to do. Good one for Germany there, Todd.
Yeah. And the rest of the team now, it looks like, as we said, they've turned off the wind as they all kind of scramble to try to get to that finish line. North Star Canada was flying. I mean, we're talking, Stevie, as they approached mark number 1, they were hitting 90 kilometers an hour. And looks like Red Bull Italy has sorted out their problems. Phil Robertson and that crew will bring it home.
Yeah, I think so. And as I say, it's not a day for top speeds. What it's a day is for average speeds. You know, and you can see here as we see Red Bull Italy coming in, They had some amazing speeds, some incredible moments, but then they had that bad manoeuvre. They fall off the foils, and it's a few hundred metres gone. I think what Emirates GBR are doing is deciding, okay, we're actually only going to sail this boat at 90% of our potential top speed, but we know we can execute that consistently. Whereas if you push for that top speed, you suddenly end up out of control. You fall off the foils, you park up, and you just lose a lot of distance. So a lot of maturity on board Emirates GBR, and to be fair, the Bond's Flying Ruse as well. Consistent speed is the key on the race course today.
We'll have ourselves a good old-fashioned event final here in New Zealand.
All right, let's get
Oh, we saw a bit of a super fan in the crowd there, Todd. That was Lily Draper, Chris Draper's daughter, cheering on the Artemis team out there. They'll be hoping for a result. Artemis need a good result.
Right.
They're pretty much in a direct battle with Los Gaios to make the final. Emirates GBR will be in the final. Bond's Flying Ruse will be in the final, as long as they deliver their boat safely to the finish here. It's Artemis versus Los Gaios in terms of a good result. As we hear Draper wing trimmer, let's get things going here. We see the Swiss are early back in the boat, and the Spanish are going to control things with Artemis. They're going to have to be careful. That line in the middle of our screen, when that turns white, would go. The favoured position is middle of the line, so it's all about timing here. The teams are late into the box. It's a small box. Can Artemis control Los Gaios? Good manoeuvre here by Artemis. The Swiss, I love the positioning of Seb there. He's got the boat set up well on board Switzerland. Rolex pole predicts on Artemis, but he's going to struggle to accelerate with the US team there. Canfield control things. Line's about to turn white. Who's got it right? Oh, Taylor Canfield, beautiful start by the US SailGP team. Great at the top of the line from the Swiss, and Los Gaios fly over the top of Artemis in the battle to the final.
So we're getting word that Rockwell, Denmark will not be able to race, so now it becomes 5 boats battling out here in the final fleet race, and it is the Stars and Stripes, Lady Liberty flying high as they approach mark number 1.
And stand by.
First tactical opportunity to get a split here. It looks like Canfield likes the breeze for an early manoeuvre. We can see top right-hand side of screen, there's good wind coming down the course. The grandstand really putting a bit of a wind shadow across the course. So all boats manoeuvre on the mark. Fantastic manoeuvre by the US there. Look how smooth they are on board. Australia cut the corner. Slingsby dives inside. He's potentially up to second, but it's tight.
Want to come back out this way.
Coaching team there, Marcus Lynch. He's been the head coach of the team there, done a really nice job on the US team, made some nice improvements, and they're out stretching their legs in the lead. Can they keep it tight through the race? So changeable out here, Hannah, though. There's a lot of golf left in this hole.
Yeah, that's right. And it looks like we've had a bit of a left rotation in the wind direction here. They're sailing not quite as far down the course, which means there's going to be more manoeuvres in this first leg down to gate 2.
And yours, Andrew? Yeah, yours. Fine. No higher, please, I don't think.
Pretty wide on the course. Here we go. Taylor Canfield there, crossing the boat. Pretty smooth. It's light on the course at the moment. As they approach gate 2, you hear them saying it's soft. Course left, so Canfield looks like he wants a right turn at the bottom here. He's seeing wind in the top of our screen, but what are they going to do? Complex manoeuvre coming here, maybe.
And turning up in 3, 2, 1, turning up.
Nice job there. Los Gaios are going to split the course, but they're ahead of Artemis, crucially in that race towards the final here. Lisa, it seems like the breeze has dropped out there.
Yeah, it has dropped out here, but it is kind of coming in and out where I'm seeing under the bridge. It looks like some more winds coming, so I wouldn't panic too much. But as you're seeing, it is really tough out here, and I think trying to adapt to what you've got at the time. And you heard the coaches in the coaching booth are working overtime, but it's also hard because they're communicating so much on the boat. So there's that real balance of knowing what to say, when to say it, and when it's really important.
Agreed.
Tight here. Artemis at the top versus Switzerland. Tight cross right of way. Artemis, I think it's all clear, but it looks to me like a game for a less turn. US had the first choice, but maybe both teams made a gain here, Hannah. This could be crucial for Los Gaios in the race to the final.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you hear the US SailGP team there going all the way to the boundary there. They think that there's better pressure, maybe better shift on that right-hand side, so they're happy to push all the way across past the Spanish, which might open up a bit of leverage for them.
And as it stands right now, guys, it would be the Bond's Flying Ruse, Emirates GBR, and Los Gaios, Spain that would be going into the event final.
Oh, my maths teacher would be proud of me, Todd. I thought I had that right in the head at the moment, but it's consistently been better breeze at the bottom of our screen, where that is right now. We'd call that the right-hand side of the course. However, look at the wind shift that the Los Gaios have got. They're sailing nearly directly up the ladder lines, progressing towards that next gate very, very quickly right now. They could cut the corner on the US here, but it's all going to come down to the wind at the top.
Spain's going to go right turn.
66 kilometers an hour on Los Gallos there, much slower on the US boat on this right-hand side of the course.
Yeah, I love that. You heard Andrew Campbell there saying Spain are going to go right turn. It's like he thinks he's on board their boat, but he knows Spain have got to do one manoeuvre, and it's easiest to do that. US team, they're going to have the right of way here. Doesn't look like they make left turn. Expect a manoeuvre for the US. Los Gallos have got to either be sure to cross. No, dip behind. Safe. Good call. Oh, my life.
Oh, my goodness.
No, US manoeuvred there. They were blocked in front of Los Gallos. That was all fair. That was just aggressive racing. No surprises there. Two-time World Match Race champion Canfield. He loves this one-on-one tussle, and he's not going to give Los Gallos an inch.
Very close to the boundary here.
So Spain plays it safe. Los Gallos, currently as it stands right now, they would make the event final after this race. They would join the Bons Flying Rouge of Australia and Emirates GBR, the reigning and defending SailGP champions.
Great shot that, isn't it? I mean, firstly, look how beautiful the city of Sails looks with a bit of sunshine on it there, but as well as we see the Swiss turning around, there's definitely opportunity on this course for the teams at the back, but you've got to do good manoeuvres. Swiss team turn, got to stay foiling fast.
The big thing that's changed for me, now we're under 30 kilometers an hour of wind, you have to be pushing the boat. As Los Gallos are really pressing across over the US team there, there's a kind of a bit of a barrier where you've got to hold back if it gets breezier, but you've got to be pushing when the wind drops.
Oh, we got umpire message there, outside the boundary.
Unforced error.
That is an unforced error, really. They're trying to make the course wide as possible at the top to minimise manoeuvres later on, but when it's this shifty, it's just not worth that risk because you don't know what you're going to get further down. And at the moment, you can see it's a good wind shift, good breeze for Artemis. They look like they're making some gains along with the Swiss, and it's light on the US team. Let's see how this plays out down the course. Last chance saloon for Artemis, though. Leg 4 of 6. Only one more upwind leg to go before the finish, and they've got to look to overtake the Spanish if they want to make the final.
And 5 more.
So Los Gallos dips behind the Bons Flying Rouge as Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team have re-emerged in first place. Has not changed the standings as it is right now, with still Australia, GBR, and Spain going into our event final.
Yeah, but for the 2026 season as a whole, these will be crucial points for the US SailGP team. Exactly where they'll finish here, I've got to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. Trying to keep up with the two groups is hard. We know Bons Flying Rouge are in the final, and we know as it stands, unless Artemis can get past Los Gallos, it will be Los Gallos in the final as well, who will race against Emirates GBR for the title here. But for the US SailGP team, if you can keep these two previous SailGP champions behind you, what a confidence booster that'll be as we head to Sydney.
I want to remind you, coming up February 28th and March 1st, in 2 weeks' time, it'll be the KPMG Sydney Sail Grand Prix. That will be quite a show. But we still got more racing to go here in Auckland, in the city of Sails, and it is US SailGP team with Taylor Canfield now extending their lead to almost 200 meters.
All the way across course. A little press.
Lisa, it feels like, you know, there's a big change. What's the clouds looking like upwind of us here? Are we expecting a build again before the end of this race?
Faster, just in the putt.
Yeah, so as you can see right now, it's a beautiful day, but there is a big gloomy cloud sitting to the south, which we're expecting to push in. But, you know, right now the breeze has rotated a little bit, but as these clouds come in and out, it'll keep changing, and that really depends on how much wind we have, how gusty it is. I'd say it's not as gusty as it was at the beginning of the day, so a little bit easier for the sailors to navigate.
So there we go, nice one, Lisa. We can see big gain here for Los Gallos by stretching wide on the course. Crucial moment coming up. When the two boats come together, oh no, Spain, it's obviously seen a big wind shift there. If they're going to fall, they're just happy to cement second. Again, pretty mature sailing from the Spanish. I thought they'd push more to where the Bons Flying Rouge are. Bons Flying Rouge have got a chance to dive in at the top here. If they're inside the zone for the mark, they'll have right of way. I don't think they will be. It's going to be good news for the US SailGP team. They should be able to bring it home from here.
They may not get to the event final, Stevie and Hannah, but this has got to be great momentum for that team that's struggling to get points, and a nice way to start things off here in event number 2.
It's going to be a big gain, and it's the Aussies that made a gain over Los Gallos here. Shouldn't matter in the race to the final, but again, if we think about this 3-boat final coming up, Slingsby's looking fast out on the water today.
Slow turn, nice guys.
And as they come to the line, the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the US SailGP team as they get the final fleet race win here in Auckland.
Yeah, they said nice race. That was a really nice race. I mean, they best start, sailed solid, no mistakes. They'll be so happy with that as they leave here. Los Gallos, well, they've done a brilliant race after a tricky first event in Perth, and then I was worried for them in the first race today, Hannah, when they couldn't race. Another solid one for Artemis, but I think they're going to walk away from here 4th again. They're not going to want that to become their lucky number.
So Artemis crossing the line just behind Los Gallos, and you sense the frustration on board with Nathan Outteridge, Chris Draper, and their crew.
Nice. Turning up. And go.
And with that, we are 1 minute away from the start of the event final here in Auckland. We will check in with Lisa Darman as soon as the race gets underway. But Stevie, to your point, in the distance, you see that storm coming, you see the rain, you see the wind. So they're trying to get this race in before it gets too hectic.
Yeah, that's right. We see our AI graphic here, which just shows what a dominant force these teams are in terms of the wins they've had versus the racing they've done. As we see their 13 event wins for the Australians, the Bonflying Rouge, they know how to do it, but it's been Emirates GBR that have been the ones doing it lately, and it's all about acceleration into this start and picking your time. First to turn back, Emirates GBR. Fletcher controls things, but it's the Bonflying Rouge that are going to set things up. It's going to be a dive inside here by Tom Slingsby. We're right above the fleet now with 13 seconds to go. Look at the colour of the water. The wind rose bottom of our screen shows 45 kilometres an hour. It's windy. Spain's got them all trapped to the top. Los Gallos have control. He winds it up. It's going to be very, very fast as the line turns white. What a start here by the Spanish. It's loose. It's really, really loose at the top. It's so windy. You've got to manage your power across here. Don't put the foot to the floor.
And it's the champions from Season 4, Los Gallos, Spain. Look at the speeds, over 90 kilometers an hour as they hit mark number 1 here in the event final in Auckland.
Oh, you've got to manage how fast. We're nearly at 100 kilometres an hour on board the Spanish. Everyone driving these boats is an Olympic gold medalist. Everyone driving these boats is a SailGP champion. This is the best of the best. And the Rolex sprint leader is Los Gallos. They've got control. Can they keep things smooth around the course? Early manoeuvre. Rain coming in top right-hand side. Lisa, it's all changed in the last few minutes.
Yeah, so full on. As you can see, just trying to tame these F50s is so difficult. But, you know, now they've got through Mark 1, the next challenge is this roundup. The rain's pushing in now, so it will settle down a little bit, but it's full throttle out here for the final.
Definitely feel it's not full throttle. They're all backed off trying to hold things and keep it safe.
Have fun here, big picture, okay? And go.
What does he mean by big picture? In my opinion, what he means by that is this is the long game. Let's not make a mistake early, push too hard, get too fast, rounding up here. A lot of power as you turn up through the wind. I'm not sure that's he wanted the picture to look right on that round up there, but they're still in the race. It's tight. There's only 6 seconds in it, and we're only at gate 2. All the boats are backing off a little bit here. They're not pushing at full speed, but Spain, expect them to manoeuvre as soon as the Bonflying Rouge do. There go the Bonflying Rouge. Spain should react to that soon.
I really like where they've positioned themselves there. Know that the right-hand side's been strong all day, and they're just stretching out the distance between manoeuvres to give themselves the time and the space to execute them really nicely.
Yeah, it's going to be a good move here. MXGBR, the advantage of being last sometimes is you actually get to put the attack on, roll the dice, as it were, a little bit early as we see a manoeuvre by MXGBR. How well can they turn the boat through the breeze? Good tack. Great tack by the British, but you can see they're nursing the boat through the wind. And on our ladder lines with the wind shift it is at the moment, well, it's Emirates GBR in the lead.
So halfway through the event final race here, and it is ironic, Stevie and Hannah, these are the only 3 teams that have ever won a title in the 6 seasons of SailGP.
And it's neck and neck, Todd, right now. Bonflying Rouge manoeuvre, they won't have the right of way, and I would have thought there's more wind to the bottom of our screen, Hannah, but it's so tight wind shift-wise. Oracle cloud down here. It shows us the wind's pretty similar across the course, similar wind speed, and it's all about manoeuvres. You can see the teams are nursing it round. Right of way, Emirates GBR. Los Gallos are going to have to park things up. That was close to me. He will have pressed the button. We will hear from Craig Mitchell whether that was clear or not, but Los Gallos at the moment show us in the lead. They're stretching away still as we approach gate 3, and this is going to be seriously dangerous. They're going to go through the max power zone. They're going to have to wind it up and tame these beasts as they turn away at gate 3.
So close together here. You can see that rain pushing in now, keeping the wind speed high. Bonflying Rouge and Los Gallos super close to that top mark.
Okay, we hear no protest from GBR. Dylan Fletcher obviously thought that was safe, but it's Bonds Flying Rouge have cut the corner. It's they lead here at gate 3, Todd. It's going to be an absolute sprint, and you can be sure that the racers out here on these boats will not back off as they get this tight late in the race.
So halfway through the race here in the event final, everyone looking for a title, the second event of season 6, and a tip of the cap to the fans who have stuck around as the rain comes in, and these faithful Kiwi race-loving fans have not left.
Come on, Todd, they're tougher than that. They love this. This is just a nice summer day. Look at the breeze here. Fast mode, they say there, Tom Slingsby. He's trying to lock it in, but as soon as you're this tight, Hannah, the racing instincts take over. There's no way they'll be backing off right now.
No, that's right. And you've got to be pushing close to the edge. But where the Bonds Flying Rouge are there, they're in quite a nice controlling position over Los Gaias. Where the wind's coming from is essentially in front of them, even though they're going downwind. It's a really nice position, jibing early on that left boundary.
Yeah, they just put disturbed wind on them there, so they'll slow them. And there you go. We can see the graphic coming off. That's showing how the wind's disturbed. Effectively means the Spanish are sailing in less wind. They've got less potential horsepower, and they're going to follow here, I'd imagine, on board Los Gaias. Look for a mistake for the Bonds Flying Rouge. It'll be a split on the course. Remember, it's GBR, but it's about accurate manoeuvres right now, and Los Gaias put the boat down. There's water over the deck. Another game for the Bonds Flying Rouge.
Emirates GBR feeling that sailing the extra distance is going to pay dividends on that side of the course. Hannah, do you agree with that move?
Well, I think they were a bit forced. They had to split that bottom gate. If they were going to follow, then it's much harder to overtake from there. So I do like that they've split. And if they get a right shift at the top, it could put them right back in contention.
This is the final upwind, though, Todd. Lisa, this is the last upwind. GBR have rolled the dice. Where's the wind coming from?
It's really dropped off across the whole course. I think where the Bonds Flying Rouge are is where the best breeze is at the moment. But as you've seen, where Emirates Great Britain have gone, they have got a shift, but it looks like Bonds Flying Rouge will cross ahead.
Here we go. This is the penultimate leg. It'll be this next gate, and then a left-hand turn to the finish, and then a championship will be won. And it looks like Emirates GBR has sailed into one of those pockets with less air. Meanwhile, the Bonds Flying Rouge covering everyone with a massive grandstand in the distance.
Yeah, one more good manoeuvre here for the Aussies, Todd, and they're going to be well set. Yep. So it was that dive inside of the top. The Rolex chasing time, well, it's still only 7 seconds, but in this world, when you're traveling at about about 20 meters per second out there, well, that's a big distance, isn't it? They've got a nice lead on the Bonds Flying Rouge. One more good maneuver. Tom Slingsby, Glenn Ashby, Jason Waterhouse, Sam Newton, Kinley Fowler and Tash Bryant are going to be able to bring it home. They won here last year, Todd. They seem to love Auckland.
It is deja vu all over again for the Bonds Flying Rouge and their fans as Tom Slingsby has come to the land of the Kiwis, and as he passes through this last gate, he can see the finish line. There is no one near him as he checks his 6, and it is a straight shot to the finish. The battle will be on for second place, but there's no question who will take the win here at Auckland at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix. It will be the Bonds Flying Rouge with speeds over 80 kilometers an hour. It'll be a fast flyby for the fans, and the champions here at Auckland. Once again, it's the Bonds Flying Rouge 2 years in a row.
Oh, they got it done. How good indeed. There you go. Flags or raincoats, I'm not sure, but they've got it done there. As you see, Emirates GBR did stick that manoeuvre. Good comeback for the British. They're going to get the win. Fletcher will be happy with that, and Los Gaias, well, 2026 season is up and running for the Spanish. They're back in the game.
It is the race of champions, and it goes the way of the 3-time winners, Australia.